Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
I'm Zach.
And today we are going to talk about our best bourbons for that between that $30 and $60 range.
I started to go off MSRP, but then everybody's different. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to see whenever I Google kind of what some of the averages are.
I think that's a good way to go.
And that are not like outrageous. But anyway, so we're going to do our best. We understand that some prices are going to be different where you're at, where you're located. Please put in the comments below if we put a bottle out there that either is way overpriced or way under, depending on where you're at. So that way we can kind of get like a really good average out of that. You guys are great about doing that, by the way.
Yeah, we love it.
So yeah, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
Notifications.
But anyways, so I will start. And the first bottle I'm going to add is the old Chattanooga.
Old Chattanooga.
111 proof. It is, I cannot stress this enough. Outside of Jack Daniels, I think this is, I know a lot of people love, and we had this conversation before, and something I didn't say when we talked about best whiskeys from Tennessee. Nashville Barrel Company, great, love them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we haven't really done much with Nashville Barrel.
No, but I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
these are my second favorite out of Tennessee outside.
Yeah,
Jack
Chattanooga
Daniels.
is
like I absolutely love them.
I
I wish we got more of their allocation, but I'm just happy enough that we got this. This is fantastic. It's like $42-$45 locally for us.
Good stuff.
And for it only being 2 years old, it's fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah. Next, which you all know my love for Four Roses, the Four Roses single barrel. This is not the barrel strength. This is just a straight Four Roses single barrel. It's roughly 40-something bucks, give or take a few bucks.
I think it's actually a little bit higher. I think it's like 45, 47.
All right, so 45,
for
47. Just a great drinker. If you like Four Roses, you're going to love the single barrel. And it's easier to get than the barrel strengths that look just like these, except for they say barrel strength on them.
I think it's one of the most slept on barrels. I think it's one of the slept on bottles on the market.
Yeah, yeah. And all of their regular stuff is generally pretty good. And I lump this in the same category as all their regular stuff. They're small batch. I'm not saying it's quality across the board.
This is where Dave and I disagree. I think this stuff is phenomenal. I think this is great value and everything else. I'm not the biggest fan of the small batch or the small batch select, but I do love the single barrel.
I do like the small batch and the small batch select. So I won't let him disparage Four Roses' name. This is good stuff.
It's great.
Almost everything you get from Four Roses is good. Just, there you go.
All right, so the next one we're going to talk about, and this is a bottle we actually have never talked about on this channel before, is the old Baker's No. 7. So
I really have never had Baker's No. 7, so everything that we're going to talk about is only things that he's talked about, because I don't know anything about it.
So this is 107 proof. This is actually a phenomenal bottle that I don't think A, people don't really talk about a whole lot, and B, I don't think people give an opportunity to. I stumbled into this too, by the way. This was it was on sale at Kroger's for like $33. I bought the last 2 bottles.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the store manager about it, and he's like, yeah, I kind of told him this was a mistake, and they argued, said I was wrong. So I said, fine, whatever y'all want to do. And I bought the last 2 because this thing is phenomenal. I keep sampling it out to some of my friends and family who have never tried this before, and everybody's like, wow, this is phenomenal. So all these are single barrels. All of them have an age statement of the big 7 years on here, right? Most of them are older than the 7 years. Like this one here, I think is an 8 year and like 2 months, 8 year, 1 month. I'm sorry. And I'm telling you, it just crushes for the price point. It's normally around like 50, 60 bucks, somewhere in there. And it's a Jim Beam product, and it is so phenomenal. If you can find a store pick of it, it's even better. Like those 11 years that were coming out from Liquor Barn that were really, really good in our area. But yeah, not a bottle gets talked about a whole lot. But
it really doesn't.
But honestly, guys, something I would look into.
Yep. Number 4 and second on my list is Yellowstone Select.
a channel favorite.
It is a channel favorite.
Yeah.
Listen, if you are just getting into bourbon and you're trying to like expand your palate, figure out what you like, what you don't like, I think that this Yellowstone 93 is about as staple of one that should be in your bar as any. It just does all the things. It got a little spice to it, but it's still smooth. Like there's just so many things to it that I like.
Has a really nice caramel and vanilla to it.
Yeah, and just goes to show you, like this used to be when I first got into bourbon, like 2.5 years ago. Like this was $25 to $27 a bottle. It is now currently sitting in the upper 30s and sometimes even lower 40s.
Yeah.
For what it is. If you know Kroger and you've been around Kroger, sometimes Kroger has it with a Kroger Plus card at like 38, but that's like almost as cheap as you're going to get it. And this is some people don't like it, and that's okay. Like, but it's a good. To me, this has always been the good bourbon to figure out what you like and what you don't like.
I think it's great, and I have a lot of history with Yellowstone, as in like I've been drinking it for a long time.
Yeah.
It was actually one of the ones that I kind of got you into.
Yeah, for sure. Like
I
I talked to him, and I said, like, if I'm getting into bourbon, what do you want me to get? And he said, listen, honestly, try Yellowstone, and I did.
I get a lot of my friends I have a lot of work friends who have really gotten into bourbon this last year or two, and I've recommended this to everybody, and everybody who I know has tried this, they've all been huge fans of it. So it has a really great profile. It's a really great, easy sipper.
It really is.
Can't really go wrong with it.
Nope.
The next one we're going to talk about is the Lost Monarch.
Ooh.
Now, we're kind of cheating because this is a Bourbon, and I get all that. And this is a huge Whiskey Tube favorite. I don't know of really a Whiskey Tube channel that is not.
It's definitely a Bourbon Kingdom favorite.
It is. Like, it's so good for an everyday Bourbon.
What is this running now?
So, I Googled it before. It's like high 40s, sometimes low 50s, depending on the store. For this being a blend of bourbon and rye, it's beautiful.
And not to mention, like we always talk about the artwork on this. Like if you want a bottle on your bourbon in your bourbon stash that just like people will be attracted, like this is it. Like
1,000%.
Any of these Redwood Empires are bourbons or ryes that you would want on your shelf because they just look so cool.
I've actually recommended this bottle to some friends who didn't like rye at all, and they started drinking this, and that was actually kind of like a gateway for them to be able to get into rye.
So true.
And it was I remember the first time I had it, I was like, I really like it, but I think I like their rye a lot more. I think it was the pipe dream. And then whenever we went back, I think we blinded all of them, right?
I think we did.
We did a video of it. And I think I like this one more. I was like, holy crap, I like this one a lot more.
It's good.
A couple of bottles later.
It's really good.
It's definitely the one I like the most.
Yep. Number 6 is, and this is probably on this list, is probably my personal favorite.
It's like third for me.
Is the John J. Bowman. If you do not know about A. Smith Bowman Distillery, you're missing out.
It's stupid good.
You just are. They do a lot of things, but this single barrel it's just fantastic. I brought it home from Virginia and I let him try it. He was like, dude, you need to be on the lookout for me for one of these.
Yeah.
Because it is good. And I found them from the distillery. This is a $50 bourbon.
Around here, it's like high 50s.
High 50s, low 60s.
No,
just depending.
From everything I found, it's still in the 50s around here.
It is, except for like the mom and pop place.
Okay.
That
you got to pay. You got to pay a little tax.
You'll be charged a little bit
mom
more.
Pop tax is what I mean.
But if you are looking for a good single barrel bourbon, I would say try to find this because I've had 2 or 3 different barrels, and they've all been really good.
Well, and for everybody who doesn't know, these are, I mean, all this stuff is distilled at Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, this is a Buffalo Trace.
And then they redistill it out there at Bowman, and then they age it out there. So it's basically in the same mash bill as the E.H. Taylor. So it's basically a poor
really
man's
is.
E.H. Taylor single barrel.
It is.
And in my opinion, at some point in time, we will blind this. I think it's better than E.H. Taylor single barrel.
I'm going to be honest with you. I like E.H. Taylor single barrel, but I do think the John J. Bowman is a little bit better.
I know it's going to sound blasphemy, but like I just think it's a little better.
So don't sleep on Bowman Brothers.
Really good. All right, so for the next one, we start talking about a little bit of finished bourbon, and we got to talk about Old Forester 1910. I mean, guys, y'all know like it's on a list without Old Forester.
It really is
around here.
Nope.
So it is. There is one other finished product that's maybe a smidge better that Dave got, but the 1910 is the second one, and it's so good. It gets slept on a little bit from time to time whenever we start talking about like the high end stuff.
I think it's because it's a 93 proofer, and people
are
like, oh, it's only 93
That was
proof.
my point. Some people want to sleep on it because it's a little bit of a low proofer,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you guys, it is phenomenal. It's great chocolate, great banana, great marshmallow. It is. Man, it's just so freaking good.
It really is good. And again, this is probably second on my list. The Woodford Double Oak. It is just a staple in my collection. It's so good. I have a tendency to collect the barrel picks of them. I like just the normal one, but man. The barrel picks seem to have just subtle differences that make it even better than just the regular oats double oak.
I used to think that these were a little overrated until we started blinding and started doing a lot more blinds.
And you realize, like,
I was like, oh crap, they just win all the time. Not the store picks. Like, I'm not even talking about store picks. I'm just talking about the regular base. Like, it beats. For me, it beats most of it. It beats the 1910. It beats the Elijah Craig Toasted. It beats the Michter's Toasted.
It beat all those.
Consistently, for me, it beats it. That's what I'm saying. For this, at least our cousins. I mean, Old Forester and Woodford and stuff. But
Jack Daniels, Old Forester, Woodford.
I mean, this being so good, and then the value of the store pick to it is just, it's phenomenal.
And the nice thing is the store pick doesn't, like, break the bank. So this is like 55 and like a store pick becomes like 60 to 65. So I mean, it's not like it breaks the bank, but it has a tendency to be worth the extra $5 to $10 for a store pick or barrel pick.
I agree.
That comes. So good stuff.
All right, so for the next one, and it's like a second place for me. It beats Bowman and super close, but you could argue it's number one, too. Wild Turkey Rare Breed. This thing, I mean, it's such the standard for your cheap, great bourbon. There's one other bottle, in my opinion, that competes with it. It is, man, it's just everything you want with that spice and that traditional kind of like whiskey bourbon profile. And it was really sad whenever it wasn't around for a while because of glass, basically.
Yeah.
And now since it's back, it's beautiful again.
And it's still like it's quasi allocated still because of the bottle. I mean, it's not really an allocated bourbon, but
it's
but
just,
like if you go to the big stores, they're telling you like limit one of this.
That's true.
So
that is part of it. It's
anything
not,
that says limit one, I always look and go, well, that's an allocated bourbon now.
That's like a temporary.
Yeah, temporary. You're probably right.
But seriously, if you haven't,
our love for Rare Breed. So
if you haven't had this, just go buy it. Just go find it. Go buy it. You'll be happy. I promise.
Yeah. And then the last one on the list is our Old Forester 1920. If you've been at this channel at all, this is the perfect proof. I mean, honestly, it's just so good. There's so many things to love about it. Hold on. I had a little Blanton's Gold. But man, this hits all the good things. And again, Old Forester, any of their standard like whiskey row series is basically like if you get it from the distillery, you're talking $55, give or take a few dollars.
Yeah, it's like lower 50s. I think at any kind of like grocery store for us around here.
Yeah.
This to me is the standard for the group. It's to me this. I mean, a lot of people could argue this could be like an $80 to $90 bottle, and it's not. Knock on wood.
It's not. Thank the Lord. Like if Old Forester hears this, they might make it an $80 or $90
but it is.
bourbon.
It's seriously. It's one of the best bottles on the market. Not for the simple fact of like the palate and the profile of it, but the availability of it to where you can live off this one. Like, man, it's so good. It's so
good, so available. There's so many things to like about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there just is. And so if you're looking for bourbons under $60, like these 10 that we showed you are like a perfect example of that. Now, there are a lot of bourbons under $60 that you could throw in this. Please tell us what you would put on this list.
Oh, yeah.
What you would remove, any of those things, because I think it's maybe there's things in your area that we don't get or we didn't know are good or whatever. I would love to hear those suggestions because I think it's cool to see what other areas get.
Oh yeah,
and the price point where
definitely let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, what you agree with, what you disagree with. All right, I think we're done. Get out of here.
All right. Well, till the next time. We'll see you.
See ya.